Hello, everybody. Welcome. There's nobody alive at the moment, but
Hello, everyone. How's everyone doing today?
how's it going, everybody? Well,
Afternoon world.
let me just sort my microphone out.
Well,
My microphone's thinking of committing suicide at the minute. Anyway, right. Hello, welcome. It's the Bronies UK guys, all three of us, back again for a live stream. Today is a post-Griffin. It's actually Griffish Isles, isn't it?
Griffish Isles, that's right.
For some reason, I keep saying people keep saying Griffin Isles, but it's Griffish Isles. I literally looked it up, but anyway, so yeah, we're going to be talking about Griffin Isles, and I've actually got it. For some reason, it won't add. That's why. Just give me 1 second. I am fucking it up already. Let me get rid of that. I think remove from studio. There we go. I can only have so much stuff at once. There we go. So Griffin Isles. So let's talk about it. So you two, Sam and Lawrence, went to Griffish Isles. I keep saying it wrong.
Yeah, I get that one as well.
2025, which was on the 3rd to the 4th of May 2025 at the Pendulum Hotel in Manchester, UK. So, what was your thoughts on it, guys? What was your thoughts, and if you, any pickups you can talk about or have to hand? Is it to you what you want to do?
Small. I don't mean that in a negative way. Small convention. I mean, there's only about
192.
people.
I say 192 tickets were sold.
So there are like 200 people in attendance, more or less. It was a nice con, very nice atmosphere. A lot of people were pretty friendly. Talked to a few people over the weekend. It had its charm.
It did.
I mean, I'm not used to small cons like that. I'm used to sort of larger ones, like 1,000 people plus. But it did have its charms. It had some good panels. There were good people, and it was just a nice little con, and I did quite like it. I felt like it definitely sort of matched the fan base as you would expect it to. I had a good time. The Saturday night was brilliant. The live concert, fantastic. Yeah. We had great acts there, as we always do at PonyCon this year. They said the acts will be there as well. But yeah, all in, I enjoyed it. Bought a few things, not a huge amount of things. So we start off with this little thing in here. So we got myself a little changeling, sort of little custom design changeling. Just sort of like the look of him. So I've got a little changeling there. We also have a little Misty sticker. I'm actually going to put that on my laptop, along with a little Luna sticker. Again, that's going to go on the laptop later. Also, we have this, which I like. So this, 2 seconds. I'll take the sticker off later, but you can probably tell it's a little Luna display. It goes like that, and it's like a little Luna display. I'll have to take the stickers off the front. And then last thing I've got, just because I like my badges, as everyone knows, I've got a little Rapidash badge.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, that's So yeah, little Rapidash Pokemon. Got that little badge. So yeah, that's what I got. And yeah, 10 out of 10. It was a great little con. Saturday night was brilliant, and I would go again. I don't know when, but yeah, I would definitely go again.
All right, Lawrence, what was your thoughts on it?
I had a thoroughly good time. Yeah, so when we arrived on the Friday, yeah, we just headed. Well, Sam and I. I went to Burger King when I got to Manchester Piccadilly station, and then waited for Sam to arrive, and then we met up and headed straight for the Pendulum Hotel, which luckily wasn't far at all, and we So we got checked in, went up to the room, got settled, and yeah, we could see when we got there. We certainly got the sense it was going to be a much smaller event than like PonyCon, because we could, all the things that were going on. It was one floor, but they were using an actual lot of rooms, because there were a lot of rooms for different events. So on Friday, I actually slept for a few hours because I had a very bad night's sleep the night before. So I slept for a few.
Someone was just saying, Lawrence, you slept for about 7 hours or something, didn't you, on the Friday?
About 3 hours.
3 hours.
And then I think I went back to sleep as well, and because I had a very bad night's sleep the night before.
Is that true? Is that truthful, Sam? Was it just 2 hours, or was it 9 hours?
I think it was like been a bit more, because we checked in at 3 o'clock, and then I think you finally woke up at about 7.
Yeah.
So probably about 4 hours, roughly.
Yeah. So what we did. Well, luckily we'd I'd had a sort of good enough breakfast in the morning before I went to catch my train, and then I obviously had a Burger King, so we didn't really need a big meal. So what we did was we watched some episodes of the show in the room, and then Sam put the Gen 5 movie on. Then I went down to the bar, and I could see people getting into the swing of it, into a very MLP sort of mood and atmosphere. People with their plushies already, and people were playing their music. So I sat at a table, had a couple of drinks at the bar, and sat outside playing some tunes, playing some of my favourite MLP tunes on my phone, and spoke to a few people. Did notice that some, the UK PonyCon crew were there. And then on Saturday morning, I got up, went for breakfast, then went back to the room, freshened up. I, then went and then went to registration, and then just waited for the went straight to the opening ceremony, then went to the vendor hall, had a look around, made a couple of purchases, then went to a few panels, and just chatted to people, which was great. And then on Sunday night, Saturday evening, the concert was absolutely fantastic. Had some food at the bar, because the food prices there weren't too bad. And there wasn't actually, I don't think there was anywhere that close to us that we could get cheaper food in the area. Though I did see people like with McDonald's bags, but I didn't know where it was. So went to the concert. I stayed more or less till the end. Sam went up to the room. I went to the bar and had a chat with a few people, took a few photos. I made a couple of TikToks while I was there. Then Sunday, got up, went for breakfast. Then went round the vendor hall. And then just went to a few panels. I went to the virtual guest panel with the voice actress. I don't exactly remember who she was. Obviously, I'm only really interested in Gen 4 and Gen 5, but this voice actress had been part of they said several different iterations of My Little Pony. So that was good.
Apparently, somebody commented that voice actress, she was the voice of one of the Dazzlings from Equestria Girls.
Yeah. And then following that, so on Sunday evening, after the closing ceremony, I went and had something to eat, and then went and had a few. And then for Sunday night, I went and had a few last drinks at the bar. And then obviously Monday we headed home. Now, I don't know if Sam's told you, John, but the thing is, I actually left my phone in the room. So what I had,
Sam's joined us.
So
yeah,
I
was
on the train home. I just got on the train from Manchester to Nottingham to head home. And I'm like, crap, I haven't got my phone. So I had to ask someone to lend me their phone so I could ring the hotel. And yeah, they did say they had it. So I had to arrange a courier and it should have been back on Wednesday because I got first class Royal Mail, but it wasn't because for some reason they didn't pick it up. So in the end, I had to rebook it and didn't get my phone back till yesterday morning. So I've been 3 days without my phone.
Well, we got it back, which is the main thing, right?
Yeah.
Good thing it was
Yeah,
in the
that's
hotel room and it wasn't anywhere else.
Yeah.
But what was your pickups then, or shall I even bother asking now? We're going to be
Right,
here
well,
for 3 hours.
first I've got this Cutie Mark Crusaders plush.
Oh,
She's quite, she's a good one. She I think she was 35. I think she was about 35 pounds.
nice.
And yeah, and there's this another one here. I got this Twilight Sparkle, this Princess Twilight Sparkle. She was a tenner. She was one of the last purchases I picked up. And I haven't got her at the moment. I'll go and get her in a minute, but there is one final one, a pretty big one. Yeah. So overall, apart from leaving my phone behind, I had a very good time, and I would go again.
Very cool. Very nice. Yes, so Griffish Isles is what we're talking about today. Hello there, Sam. Sorry, I haven't acknowledged you. Hello, how are you, Sam?
Hello.
Nice to see you. Hope you're well. We're just talking about Griffish Isles, which was where Sam and Lawrence went last weekend, and this is just them talking about their experience it was their first time going.
Got a sticker off her.
Ah, nice.
It looks pretty nice. It's just a little lunar stand. Quite nice.
Yeah, it is nice. Hey, so
yeah, and it was a very small vendor hall, but they had some good stuff. Oh, say, Sam, did you give John his little? I know you got John a little figure.
Yeah, I gave him the drugs we got him. Yeah,
and the present from me, a little present. Okay, I got you a little Misty
Sam,
figure.
Sam. We discussed this. It's an embarrassing thing, the special stuff that you gave me earlier.
Well, the agreement was that My Little Pony was literally the code word. When I arrived this morning, it was like, what? It was like, okay, you said to me, what's your favorite television show? I said My Little Pony. You let me in. I gave you the stuff. You paid me. I left. This whole thing's a cover for John's addiction. It's terrible, it really is.
I'm addicted to glitter.
Yeah.
I sparkle like Edward Cullen.
Scary thought.
No. I don't know. We just went to see a film, me and Sam, today called Sinners. Went to see Sinners at View today. And not one sparkly vampire in sight, which was good to see. But they were proper vampires. They were legitimate vampires. They were probably close to being Blade level vampire. But even though the Blade ones are still pretty cool. Anyway, so would you go again to Griffish Isles? Or
I would recommend it to any fan that hasn't been. If you're looking for a convention that's it's small and not crowded, and I don't feel in any way you'd get overwhelmed there. Quite very comfortable, and very such great people. The effort was, you could tell, the effort they put into it really showed.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what you want at the end of the day. You want a nice little chilled out affair. I mean, yes, obviously I had no idea it was such a small event. I mean, I do know that same hotel is what hosted TF Nation Minicon back in March.
Yeah.
So it was the same hotel. So where the dealer hall was likely the same size, which was probably the one that was used for Minicon, TFN Minicon as well. But yes, nice one. I mean, like I say, I wish I could have gone. It would have been nice to have just had a weekend away, to be honest, because I've just been a bit pissed off and bored with myself. But at the moment, I can't quite afford to do anything until before going to TF Nation in August, because all my saving is going towards August, September for when I go away in September to America, and then all that kind of jazz. So my money's basically just been spent up on all that saving up. But I'm hoping to do UK PonyCon. I really would like to do that, but that really does depend on what my money's like when I'm back from America, because if I've got some money that I can literally change back to pounds from dollars, if I've got anything left after the holiday, spending money wise, then I'm going to probably put that towards UK PonyCon. I'm going to sort a holiday form out probably tomorrow, ready for Monday, hand it in. So I've got the dates actually hopefully booked off. If I do decide to do it or not, at least I've got the dates booked off. So that's the main thing. But yeah, glad you both had a good time. And again, I would like to just say thank you to you both for the little gifts.
Very well.
You really didn't have to do that. I mean, I've now have my very first Izzy figure, which was off you, Lawrence. So thank you very much. I do love Izzy. I Izzy. I would like to get myself a Misty plush.
Yeah, but I don't think there are no official ones. They're all custom.
No, unfortunately, didn't get a Build-A-Bear treatment.
Misty plush I've seen, because obviously there's quite a few places making them.
Yeah.
Third party. The cheapest Misty plush I've seen is on Etsy, and it's about 200 quid. That's and it's a little one. It's probably not very big. It's only a little mini plush. It's quite nice, but that's the cheapest one you'll find.
Yeah, it's the same price. I really want a Maud Pie plush, but I can only see the ones you can get from custom, and they're like 200 quid.
Lawrence, to be honest with you, mate, you may have to bite the bullet at some point. If you want a custom plush, you got to bite the bullet, mate. I mean, my OC was a lot of money. I'm not going to say it on live stream how much it was, but you both know how much it was, and he's not even here yet. He's still being made, probably another couple of months. But
it was the price of 2 kidneys and a lung.
Yeah, that's probably a good estimate. But yeah, you got to pay the money. Unfortunately, if you want an OC or a custom plush.
Yeah, because the thing is, I really want a Maud Pie, and I'm looking everywhere to see if I can find one from a seller. But the only ones I can find are, you can get that custom one, but it's like, and they don't get me wrong, they look. The photos of how they look, you can either get the knitted one, which I don't think is quite as much, but I don't really want a knitted one. But the custom ones I've seen, that they look amazing. They look so accurate, but I'm not willing to pay that kind of price. Like, it's a shame that not the PonyCon just gone, but the year before, and UK PonyCon 2023.
Yeah.
There was that seller there that we bought a few plushes off, wasn't there, John? And they had lots of characters at cheap prices. Like you got a couple of Build-A-Bears from them, and I bought that really big Sunny that was only £15. It was a shame that I think they made the plushies. Their company made the plushies themselves, but they didn't have any Mauds. It was a shame.
Yeah. I mean, I've obviously from UK PonyCon, obviously I didn't get any plushies last year because for some reason even though they were mostly all Build-A-Bear type ones, they were asking a lot of money for some of them. I mean, I saw a Big Mac. I saw a Big Mac plushie, a Build-A-Bear one that was on one of the stalls that's right, basically when you're in the dealer room, and there was those ones that are like right at the far end and they kind of go out in like a T shape. They're kind of like one of those ones in like the right hand side, right at the back. It was one of those stalls down that side of the dealer room at PonyCon, and I was looking at it and I picked it up and I was like, how much is this? And I kept looking at it and I thought, this can't be much. Probably I'd say max of about 20-30 quid because it's, but they're asking 100 quid for it. And I was like, it's a fucking Build-A-Bear one.
Yeah, no, even for a rare Build-A-Bear, that's pushing it.
I mean, I don't know how rare I don't know if it might have been a limited one.
I don't remember. I mean, obviously, I think most of the Build-A-Bears came out before I really got into the franchise.
Yeah.
But
I mean, I've got a couple Build-A-Bears. I've got Tempest, I've got Rainbow Dash, I've got Pinkie Pie, I've got Celestia, I've got Spike Build-A-Bear. But I got those. I got a couple of them off eBay because obviously they weren't being sold at Build-A-Bear anymore. And I got around to it.
I've got a few Build-A-Bears, but there's only about 3 that I actually got from Build-A-Bear. I got from Build-A-Bear. I got first one I got was Tempest. Then I got Rainbow Dash, and then at my second TFN when we all went into Birmingham, I got Trixie.
Nice.
Those are the only ones I got from Build-A-Bear.
I tell a lie. I've also got a Build-A-Bear Applejack as well, and Apple Bloom.
I think that I've got all the main 6. They're not all in great condition, but like this Build-A-Bear Pinkie Pie, she was only a tenner. She's got a slight rip in her there. She's got a slight slit in her there, but you can't really see it. But I think that I got these from PonyCon last year. This Rarity and this Pinkie Pie. I think they were only a tenner each, and I got the Celestia. You can see it just there.
Yeah. I've got that Celestia. Literally, I got my Celestia from a charity shop in Hull.
Yeah. And actually, the first Build-A-Bear I got was the first ever My Little Pony thing I got was the Build-A-Bear Fluttershy from a charity shop. She's up on the shelf. She was only £4.
I think I only paid about £1.50 for her. For the Celestia, I was like, "This is a Build-A-Bear one. It's one of the big ones, and I've got it for £1.50."
Yeah.
Like they don't know what. Literally, this is a My Little Pony product. They could have easily.
And speaking of big clutches, what you guys just discussed. I'm just gonna go and get my other purchase from UK PonyCon.
Okie doke. Right.
Popping something in the chat.
Okay.
Cheapest Maud Pie plush I think I can find. Lawrence is interested.
Oh yeah, nice. What I'm gonna do. Nope, hang on.
Pinkie
Sorry.
Pie, made in China.
Nice.
She looks very accurate.
She does, very accurate.
You always get the good deals, Lawrence.
I know. I have a way with people.
It looks like it. So this is what Sam wanted to show you, Lawrence.
Yeah. That's nice. Yeah, it's a nice one. 191 quid. Yeah.
The thing is, with plushes in general, if the curators have a patent for it, then it's actually cheaper. If it's an original character creation, so it's an OC plush, they're a lot more expensive because obviously they've got to create it all from scratch.
Yeah.
So with something like a recognised character like Maud, you're not going to pay much more than 200 quid. Yeah, it's a lot of money, but it's the cheapest you'll get.
Yeah.
And don't forget,
and this one is 10% off. It was originally 212 quid.
Yeah.
It's
that's only for this month.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, though, you'll probably pay 200 quid on that because it'll be at least a tenner minimum for postage,
and also
on where it's from.
And also, just to mention, you can set up a payment plan if it's better.
Where is it from? Is it UK based, Europe based? Does it say? Might say lower down.
Made by Strawberry Cow Plush.
Poland. Dispatched from Poland.
Yeah.
So you'll pay postage. I mean, you won't pay a lot because it's not going to weigh a lot, and obviously it's usually based on weight. But you're probably going to pay, I'd say, at minimum you're going to pay maybe a tenner.
From Poland, but
Postage.
you're also having to pay nearly 30 quid postage as well.
Yeah, so you're
Yeah,
going to be talking.
I wouldn't think about it.
220
I
quid.
think it's too much for me to pay a posh because what I could do with like nearly 200 quid, like I could buy something with that I would get a lot of actual use out of.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. I'm similar to you, Lawrence. I don't. Yes, some people call me tight, but I'm a Yorkshireman, typical Yorkshireman. What spends certain money over a certain amount of money, but I really don't like. I mean, it's like mobile phones, for instance. I know this is a different tangent. It's not ponies, I know, but it's like there's mobile phones out there, like the brand new flagships. People are quite happy to spend over £1,000 on a phone,
And
and I'm just
I
like,
never get that.
how the
I
hell
really do
can
not get that.
okay, if it's something you've been saving for, then fine. All power to you. Okay, if that's what you want to do with your money, go for it. But me personally, I just cannot do that. I can't shell out over £1,000 for just one thing. Yes, it's a mobile phone. It's going to get used and everything, but I literally bought a new mobile phone. I'm currently paying it off at the moment. It's a Samsung Galaxy, but it's the A56, the new, basically their mid range phone. It was 500 quid brand new, and it's fantastic. It is actually probably just about on par with the flagship, even though the flagship will have a better chip in it. That's what you're paying for. It's just it's a different chipset inside the flagship. That's it, and a different camera module. That's it. That's all you're really paying for.
Camera modules are more or less the same.
Yeah, the camera modules.
You're really paying for
it's the chip,
the processors, the storage space,
yeah,
and the RAM.
Because
That's what you're paying for.
The flagship have the Snapdragon. The Snapdragon processor and that in it. But yeah, it's when it comes to things like what Lawrence is saying, when it comes to like a plush, for instance, it's literally just a teddy bear. And I understand why there's a high price for an independent one where it's been independently made by somebody who's a fan, where it's a custom plushie. I understand why there's a premium price for those. But at the end of the day, to me personally, it's just a teddy bear. It is just a teddy bear, and I can't bring myself to pay 100,
Well,
200
no, I mean,
quid.
I get where you're coming from.
I'm the same with what Lawrence is saying there. I just can't bring myself to do it.
If you're talking like OC plushes, like a lot of people in the MLP fan base have an OC plush. I mean, like I said, I've commissioned one. It's currently being made. Yeah, they're not cheap, but as like a one-off thing to have your own character created, you know, people are willing, you know.
Yeah.
Just as a point, right? So these little badges. I mean, as much as I like these badges, and I'll be honest, they're not cheap. I mean, this badge I think was about 15 quid. You know, they can average 15 to 20 quid. Some can even go as high as 40, depending on the badge, how big they are, whether or not they're limited edition. There's a reason why badges like this are expensive. Because I actually spoke to the seller, the two people on the stall who were selling the badges.
Be still my Yorkshire hat. Be still my Yorkshire hat.
To make one of these badges, right? To make a batch of these badges, I think about 10 at a go. It costs the seller, the seller, though, it costs them 300 quid to make a batch of these badges. So that's why they're expensive, because they've got to make the money back. You know, because I asked the seller when I bought the badge, like, you know, just out of interest, really, you know, why are they averaging that kind of money? And said, well, because it costs 300 quid to make a batch of them, you know, like a batch of 10 or something.
Yeah, so to make a profit off the sales, they have to charge probably, double the price for each one.
Hello,
Yorkshire's always mentioned.
Yorkshire mentioned
as the war cry. How much?
Well, you're just coming in there, Freckle Shark. We're basically just talking about the price of like custom plushes and certain things, and me and Lawrence are on the same wavelength when it comes to can't bring ourselves to pay anything more than 100 or 200 quid for a plushie. Would rather put it towards something much more useful, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like a game console, for instance.
Well,
Yeah, like-
I mean, useful as much as I get what you're on about. I mean, just as an example, I mean, I'm currently using a 32-inch 4K gaming monitor. You know that when this particular monitor that I've got, when it was first released, it was
Here we go,
800 quid.
people. This is Sam. This is PC Sam. We get it? It's a PC gamer. For some reason, they think they're on some kind of hierarchy thing with when it comes to PC gamers. I'm a console gamer. I'm an old school console gamer. Console gaming is where it's at, people.
I'm primarily
Right,
a console gamer. I do have a Steam Deck, which I've kind of upgraded to more or less to a PC. I use it in full PC mode because I've got like an external gaming monitor for my Steam Deck, but the one I got costs like £100. It works very well.
I mean, this monitor, just as an example. So when it was first released, it was a lot of money. I didn't buy it. It was 800 quid. I didn't buy it. I waited, and then a few years down, about maybe 2 years down the line, I believe it was down to about 250 quid. So I bought it.
No, that's not too bad.
No, it's a really great monitor. But I'll be completely honest, the graphics card in my computer cost me £1,200.
This is exactly why that's one of the big reasons I don't like doing PC gamers, all because of all this graphics card.
But here's the thing: the graphics card in my computer is like the top range. It's one of the best you can buy.
Hey, Lawrence,
and I won't need to replace it for probably the next 10 years.
Lawrence, there is a reason we are friends.
Yeah.
We are literally on the same wavelength. I can't get my head around why. I understand if that's your preference when it comes to gaming. If you want to do it PC, fine. I all power to you. I've got, that's fine. The point is that the amount of money to make your computer up to scratch to play AAA games, new generation games, is unreal. The amount of money you have to put
not really.
It can be. If you want to future-proof the computer for the next 5-10 years, 5 years, say max, then you're gonna have to shell out money. With a game console, it's one-time amount, and you can play all the AAA games you want. At least that are on the PS5. Obviously, if it's an Xbox exclusive, that's a problem. But if it's,
I mean, literally, I know that with my Steam Deck, because it is technically a PC, it's a handheld PC, and you can accessorize it to be a fully functioning PC, which is kind of what I've done.
Yeah.
But the thing, the thing is, you can literally modify it to it is literally able to play any game. But I mean, not all games on the Steam library are compatible with it. But you can modify it to play it off other launchers.
Just to bring in what Freckle Shark has actually said there, saying, I agree, £100 for a plushie is days I fear along behind us. Well, as you know, I'm currently in the process of saving for a house. Fingers crossed, come end of the year, I'm going to have the money I need to finally move out, get my own place. I'm fully aware that the moment I do that, the moment I get my own house, that's it. I am not going to be able to afford, to spend, I don't know, 300 quid on some collectible box set, let's just say, because I won't have the money. I won't have the spare money to do it. So in a way, that's why I bought what the setup in my computer, what I've got my computer wise. That's why I spent the money I spent, because I knew that, as you said, John said, it future proofs me. I won't need to update this computer for probably the next several years. And when the time comes to update, hopefully I'll have some money saved away that I'll be able to do it with. But yeah, we do reach that point in life where, we can't really just spend on nice stuff as we might like to. And I'm fully prepared for that. Like I said, when I finally get on the house,
now 35. I kind of think, I've had a good, I've had my share, I've had my fair share of having all these nice things and having quite a bit expensive things, and I would say to a degree that I've probably been a bit spoiled. But if I think about it now, is I still want to be able to have nice things, but you know, I'm now at this age where I want to slow down and just make more use of what I've got, you know, and you know, save more money, you know, because to be honest, now is, you know, going to conventions and stuff. I realise has been, you know, and socialising with you guys has been really good for like my mental health.
Mm-hmm.
And whereas you might question, some people might say, well, I don't know, but for the price you're paying for that, you could get like a console and a game or something, or a few games. I'm not thinking, well, yeah, but I've got the games, I've got games consoles, I've got computer, and I'm not thinking I don't need to buy a new console or a game or a computer every year or even every 2 years. And you know, it'd be better for me. You know, it's better for me. You know, for my social status and for my mental health, to boost my confidence, to spend money on things like, you know, going to conventions like PonyCon, because it's a good thing for me. And you know, of course, yeah, you know, part of it is buying stuff while you're there, you know. But so that's part of it. It's only part of it. I'm not thinking, you know.
Yeah, no, it is. I mean, I spent like at Griffin Isles. I spent at the dealer's room, like excluding food and drink, you know, at the bar and everything. I only spent about 40 quid in the dealer's room. And I mean, I'll be fully honest, as John can testify, we go back like 15 years. Like the very first convention I ever went to, I spent a lot of money. Like,
Yeah,
I
spent. Yeah, I think in total, when in terms of purchases, I probably spent close to £90 at Griffin Isles in general, and then spent on other things. I probably spent maybe about perhaps coming up to another 60. I probably spent in total about maybe £120, 100 and something quid, or you know, maybe 120, 30 quid on the whole weekend. But you know, for a weekend away, and that was good, and not including the price of the hotel.
Yeah, I mean, like to be honest with you, I mean, I'd much rather put whatever money I have, I'd much rather put it into going to a convention than something that's just nothing more than an object. You know, just like, you know what I mean? I'd because I get much more satisfaction going to a convention and being surrounding myself with like-minded people such as myself that have a similar interest or have the same interests as I do, and maybe others as well. Because I mean, obviously, we go to TF Nation, which is a Transformers convention, you know, but I mean, that is pretty much what I've known for the past 13 years. I think this year I've been going back to back.
Yeah.
Well, technically it's 15 years, but I suppose if you don't include COVID, then yeah, it's 13 years. But just as Freckle Sharks posted, very true, Lawrence. After all, everything is better with friends. You just have a good time with us. I mean,
yeah, absolutely.
Last TF Nation, I didn't buy anything. You know, I just went to see people.
Yeah.
Because you know, going back to how I was as a kid and as a young teenager, I didn't realize at the time that I was terrible with any money I had. Like my parents,
that's normal, mate.
My parents were
reluctant
to give me pocket money and stuff because they knew, oh, you just waste it on stuff that you know you don't need and you're not going to use. Well, I did use a lot of the stuff I got, but
I was the same, Lawrence. I would just literally, I'd be handed some pocket money and I'd go straight to the pick and mix shop and buying them bags and bags of bloody
sweets. Like, what do you do when you're a kid? I mean, when you're a child,
I would want, you know, in my case, I would want things like, I would want to have things like, you know, various editions of films and that on DVD and all that. And then I'd want to, I would want, you know, every new game that's, you know, like I'd want every, you know, sort of every new game I want, you know, that I thought would be good.
The problem is, when I was a kid, most of the games I wanted, I couldn't buy myself, so I had to wait in Christmas.
The thing I remember right is it was Christmas 2004. And finally, I finally persuaded my mum, as an early present with some money I got from some friends, and plus my month pocket money. I finally persuaded my mum to get me Grand Theft Auto San Andreas because she didn't
Good game.
Because I think I had Vice City before it, and she didn't like it.
Yes.
And you shouldn't be playing that violent game. It's like 18, but finally persuaded her to get it for me that Christmas Eve.
The great thing about my mum and dad is they didn't really ask questions. I mean, obviously it was an 18 rated game, which obviously wasn't meant for me at my age at that point because I remember I must have been 2004. Well, I would have been 14, going on 15. No, I just turned maybe just turned 15, maybe when like Vice City and San Andreas was coming out.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, oh man, it's just like the thing is with my parents is they were pretty good that way when it came to not really asking many questions about what the games was.
Yeah.
Like obviously seeing a certificate on it. Obviously, I couldn't buy it myself because, or with my parents because I couldn't be with my parents by buying it because it was an 18 rated certificate.
Yeah, because I noticed even in situations where your parents were with you,
yeah,
if the person at the checkout suspected that the parent might be buying it for their underage kid, they might say they would refuse to sell it to you.
Yeah. No, well, they should do. I mean, obviously, I was like, I was 15 years old and definitely not 18. And
don't forget, you're a pretty big guy, mate. So, even at 15, you looked a bit older.
I did.
The thing is, I would never, at 14, 15, I would never have been able to be taken for 18.
No.
Well, and the frustrating thing was, I did know people that did. Like, there were people sort of who were 15 and 16 that were able to go and buy 18 rated games, and they didn't get asked for ID. They didn't get asked. They looked like they could be 18.
But with me, I had a mate of mine this was back when I was at college. I remember at one point wanting to. I can't remember what the film was, but there was this film I wanted to buy. It was 18 rated. Oh yeah, it was it. It was The Exorcist, and it was like I really, really wanted to buy it because, but obviously, there's no way it would have let me at the checkout because they would check me for ID. But luckily, I remember this. His brother was with him at the time. We were in HMB, and his brother at the time would have been about 19, I think. So he just told me, "Oh, I'll buy it for you. If you give me the money now, just wait outside so they don't get suspicious. They won't send me if they think I'm buying it for you. So just disappear for a minute, and I'll wait for me outside." And just bought it for me. But yeah, it's like with you, John, you could probably pass for being a bit older when you were in your teens.
No, there was a few instances where I managed to get into, like, I was underage, but I managed to get into, like, see films that are 18, things like that. I managed to pass for that because back in those days, they didn't. Back when I was a kid, and I sound old when I say back in those days.
We're getting there, mate. We're 40 in a couple of years. We're getting there.
Hey, I'm younger than you. I'm still going to be
by a couple of months.
But when you turn 40, Sam, I will still be a young 39-year-old for a whole year.
Yeah.
8 months. You've got 8 months between us.
Yeah, but still 8 months of me in my 30s.
Well, the thing the most about I think one of the funniest things was I did used to buy when I was at college. I did used to buy like 15 rated films. I was 15, well 16 by that point. I didn't actually have ID on me at the time. I never had a problem. And this one time, I remember they changed the policy, and basically if you bought something like 3 or more films that were 15 or 18 rated, they needed ID. And I bought a couple of films that were all 15 rated, and the bloke at the till was like, "Right, I'm going to need to see some ID." And I was like, "You've said me loads of times." He goes, "I know, but we've changed the policy now, so I need to see ID because you're buying more than 3 films that are 15 rated." "I don't actually have any ID." He goes, "Right, well, I can't save you then." Just like, come on, man, you've saved me loads of times. Just you saved me last week. And I bought a 15-rated film. And the guy was like, yeah, I know. And he was like, I know.
Yeah.
And I said, right. I said, but I can't save you anymore because those are the new rules. So bloody.
I mean, that's the thing when we were quite young. When we were like between the age of say 13 to 16 bracket. You know, when we were about that age, like I remember going to. Do you remember the old cinema, Sam? Before it was
UCI.
Nickelodeon took over.
Yeah, UCI.
UCI, that's right. When we had UCI, and I used to go there all the time because obviously it was closer, it was easier to get to for me to go to cinema, and at the time, and so yeah, I used to go there, and I remember like my mum would drop me off. Usually, my mum that would drop me off at cinema, and this was at the time when I was like going to see films on my own with either you or whatever, or Chris and that. Our mate. And so I remember a few times like just kind of like walking straight up, and I memorized, I like revised in my head exactly what they would ask, what questions they would possibly ask to sway me in, and literally they would never ask for ID. They'd never ask for like a photo ID or anything like that. They would literally just ask, "What's your date of birth?" if they questioned it. And literally, I come up to the point where what would make me literally just 18 or 19 or something like that, or whatever, or make me just over the certificate age. And I was like, I was born date or whatever, and they're like, okay, and they're just like, that's fine. It was like, and then obviously everything changed like shortly after that, where it was literally they would have to forcibly ask for a photo ID.
Yeah. I remember, I forget what the film was, but it was a 15 film, and we went to UCI. It was me, Bobby, John, and Dean. You know, little Dean.
Yeah.
And we went. I can't remember what the film was. Cannot remember. But basically, we went up, asked for the ticket, and of course, this is before the whole ID thing happened. And naturally, they were like, you know, they wanted date of birth and all that. And literally, the only reason we didn't get in was because when they asked John Levesley, I remember this really well, he stuttered a lot, was really nervous when he gave his date of birth. And then when he gave his date of birth, he gave a completely wrong date of birth. So the lady at the box office sort of said, hang on, you just said your birthday is whatever it was. He goes, so you're 14? And he goes, no, it's sorry, my date of birth is it's that. And he goes, right. So now you're 17. Well, both stood there just like, right, let's go. We're gonna go. We're just gonna go. And it's like, come on, John, idiots. Poor John. John's like, I'm so sorry.
I
I'm so
remember
nervous.
when I was
first you told me you were 14, then you told me you were 17. So it didn't really go down very well. Cheers, John.
I can remember actually. I can remember this one. The first time I bought a DVD that was 12 rated by myself, and I was 13 at the time, and I remember going to the checkout at Woolworths, the good old days of Woolworths, and the girl asked me how old I was, and even though I was 13, I actually just said 12. I was thinking of the number 12 because that was the certificate on the DVD. I said 12. No, I'm 13. Sorry. I said, all right. Well, I still said 12 or 13. So.
Well, you could buy a 12 rated film at 12 anyway. I mean, knowing you, Lawrence, you probably serenaded the lady and got a picture with her and a TikTok video with her, because that happens a lot.
Oh, no. This was years before that. This was years before any of that was. I think it was about 2003, I think it was.
We
now know that Lawrence really is a silver fox.
Oh, yeah. I mean, like Polycon gets a picture with all of the cosplayers. And
he just goes to the toilet. He literally he just goes to the toilet, and then he comes back and he shows both of us a picture of the whole Equestria Girl cast together, and him in the middle of all of them, like Applejack, Pinkie Pie, all of them as the Equestria Girl human versions, and we were just like, we're gonna follow you everywhere, even to the bathroom from now on.
That might be a bit weird, But the funny thing is that same day.
Hey, Lawrence. Hey.
That same day as well, after he got the photo with the equestrian girl cosplayers, two ladies next spot him, and the next thing I know, they walk over to Lawrence and they're like, "Oh hi, we recognise you off TikTok. Can we get a picture with you?"
Oh, we love you, Lawrence. Really, we love you,
Yeah.
but we're jealous of you for some reason. I wish I was you. Oh man, but no,
I've got a question, lads. I'm trying to get back onto ponies. This is meant to be an MLP channel, but talk about whatever, it don't bother anyone. But here's something I've been thinking about. Right, I've been thinking about the My Little Pony fan base recently. Right, so obviously go back 10, 12 years. Officially, it was known as the Brony fan base, right?
Yeah.
And we go back to the early days. It was
Brony Pegasus.
Yeah, Brony Pegasus. Yeah, it was. It was a very big thing. It was quite different. And then if you fast forward to now, could we even say the term Brony or Pegasus actually covers the fan base? Because I don't
think so anymore. I don't think it does.
Not a lot of people would, as an MLP fan, let's say, I don't think a lot of people would even class themselves as a Brony anymore. It would just be
just a fan.
A Pony fan. Yeah.
It was most the Brony thing was mostly over the period of Gen 4. It was like when Gen 4 was being released and it was airing, and that was when the Brony fan base, as you can call it, one really kind of like come out of the woodwork. So I would say now that we've obviously G5's come and gone.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, I would say there will still be people out there that do refer to themselves as a Brony, because that's where they were from. They were part of the Brony fan base. That's where when they got into Gen 4 or Gen 3, whatever it was, they were there when it happened. When it initially became a very popular thing. So I would still say the Brony name is still there, depending of what circle you're in. Whether you're somebody that followed it from 2010 onwards, or like me and you, Sam, we started following it from like 2012-13 time, when season 3 was airing. At least that's where I started watching it anyway. But yeah, so I was 2013, say, when season 3 was coming out, and the first 2 Equestria Girl films was up on Netflix at the time. So that's where I started watching it. But so anyone from, say, 2010 right through the whole 9 season run of Vegetables Magic, anyone that started watching during that, or even an Equestria Girl, I don't know. I mean, to be honest, because you got 2 sides of it, because you had you had those that preferred Equestria Girls to the pony side, and then you had the people that there was others that preferred the pony side to the Equestria side, and then you had fans like us that liked both. So it became like a three-way divide eventually when Equestria Girls was becoming a thing. I mean, when the first Equestria, I do remember. I know this is going on a tangent from your question, Sam. I do apologise, but but I do remember when the first Equestria Girl film got announced. A lot of people in the fan base were not happy. They were very dubious of it, because it was like, okay, this is Hasbro, typical, trying to sell toys, trying to get into the doll market now by making technically doll versions of the main 6, basically, and other characters, which it technically is, because Hasbro is a toy company after all. It is a cash grab when it comes to toys, but it was them trying to rival things like Monster High at the time, because Monster High was becoming a big favourite with doll sales and stuff and toys. So the kind of like Equestria Girls and Monster High were kind of the 2 big like doll toys at the time, when that were kind of rivaling each other, and then they were trying to rival with like Mattel when it came to like Barbie and stuff like that.
Well, to say, because what Hasbro did was, I know, like, they said like GI Joe became kind of a big rival to sort of the Barbie.
It, no, it was the Action Man line that was the rival to.
I mean, I know technically that was obviously it was strictly British. I mean, obviously, Action Man is known in other parts of the world.
Of course, yeah. I mean, Action Man was seen as the Barbie for boys.
Yeah,
That's what it was dubbed at. They were basically just a doll for boys. But they tried to make it more masculine in a way to give like a combat background or make him a spy.
So here in the UK, like the UK had the Cindy dolls, were basically Britain's alternative to sort of Barbies, but
yeah, I remember that. Yeah, I mean, like I say, I mean, getting back onto what I was saying, I can't remember now. Yeah, the Equestria Girl thing. Like, basically, I do remember Equestria Girls the first film when it first got announced. It wasn't really well received because of there was a bit of like negativity because of the fact they were like, here we go, it's just a cash grab, to basically produce a new toy line, which technically it was. But but upon watching the first Equestria Girl films, it actually kind of like surprised a few people, and it still had a lot of the heart there. It didn't it didn't lose.
Well, I think what helped was obviously in the first Equestria Girl film is they did have it take place sort of in the continuity of the series to begin with. It obviously begins with Twilight going to the Equestria Girl as well.
Yes.
She goes there, she finds that she's turned human.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, the fact that they kept it, the first 3 films, anyways. The first, the feature length films, the feature length ones, the 4 feature lengths that they did, they are connected to the pony side, of course, the continuity. But then when they started, like when they went forward with the web series, started doing like the specials and then the web series that followed. It's even though it was still sort of connected to that side, but they obviously they replaced Pony Twilight with the human Twilight, and Pony Twilight never really came back at one point, and it technically became its own. Even though it was connected to the pony side, to Gen 4, it was still connected somehow, but it became its own thing, and then they kind of morphed it into its own continuity. Because the fact is that they technically replaced Pony Twilight with the human variant.
And I get that because even though the Twilight in the first film is the pony Twilight, we are made aware in the following films that there is a Twilight in the Equestria Girls universe.
There's technically a human version of all of them. For all technically you could say for all the characters that are in the Ponyverse, in the pony side that live in Ponyville or Canterlot or what have you, all the characters that interact and we know about, like even the secondary characters and also the main 6, and that there is a human version of all of them in the alternate world. However, we don't see all of them. We don't see like a human version of Discord, for instance, which would have been interesting. But they kind of keep it more grounded for Equestria Girls, even though it would have been nice to see if there was the reveal for the human version of Sunset Shimmer, because that is what they were going to do. Apparently, they did plan to do one final feature film or some final special or something to finish it off, to finish off the Sunset Shimmer arc, if you will. They were actually going to finish it off properly, and they was actually going to introduce the actual human version of Sunset Shimmer, because that never gets properly revealed, even though or even mentioned about. But yet, it is still a question that was never answered, and a lot of the fans are like, "Is there even what happened to this version?" Because there's a lot of fan theories that stemmed from it. Like, did did the pony Sunset Shimmer kill her human self and just take her place? Was that theory? Or is like, or for some reason is, there's all sorts of different like theories.
I know, by the way, if you're interested, I know what actually happened in regards to Sunset Shimmer, what the overall story was supposed to be. Because after the final Equestria Girls film, which was obviously Camp Everfree, after that it was basically the plans for there was supposed to be a final film, and it was basically canned. And Hasbro decided they weren't going to continue with the Equestria Girls anymore. The writers of Equestria Girls basically did a big information dump on Twitter. This was several years ago. And they basically explained what the overall final film was going to be. And the final film was basically going to actually answer the question as to where the human counterpart of Sunset Shimmer was. And they basically simply said what happened when Pony Sunset Shimmer went over to the Equestria Girls universe. She sealed away her counterpart in a pocket dimension, effectively, and that's where she's been ever since.
Right.
And they basically said the final film was going to be sort of more focusing on Sunset Shimmer, and it was going to start out with telling you a bit about the early years of her in that dimension, what she got up to, what she did, and then it was going to flow into the current storyline, which was going to involve her having to sort of find and release her counterpart from this dimension she'd sealed her away in.
Mm-hmm.
That was meant to be the storyline. So yeah, we were actually going to get an answer to that question as to what happened to the other Sunset Shimmer, but the film never got made.
Right, okay. Right, I'm just gonna pop off for a second, guys. Talk amongst yourselves. I'm just gonna nip and get a drink quickly. Let's give me 1 second.
Right. So, Lawrence, tell me something about out of interest.
To be honest, not much has happened. I'll say. I've watched a few episodes of the show since I got back from Griffin Isles. Still likes keeping the pony mood, but back to reality.
I'm not back to reality till Monday, mate.
Yeah.
Back at work on Monday.
When are you going to upload some of your footage, Sam?
I'll get around to it, mate. I'll get around to it.
Obviously, I haven't been able to yet because I've only just got my phone back, and that's where all the footage was.
I'll try and I might have to do it probably next weekend if I get the time. I'm not going to have the time tomorrow. So probably next weekend if I can find the time. Maybe Saturday night. I can't do it tomorrow. I'm not in. I've got stuff to do. So probably next Saturday, maybe.
Yeah.
You've got a lot of plushes there, mate.
I have. Well, here, see here, there's 16 on this sofa, 16 pony plushes. In this room altogether, there's, I think, about 40 odd. I've got a few more in the kitchen. I've got 2 more in the bedroom. No, I've got the big Sunny, the big Pinky. I've got the regular Britannia. I've got a little Celestia. And the little custom Twilight that I got at UK PonyCon last year. I've got a lot of them.
Sam, steps away for food. What I miss. Well, we've talked about a lot of things. We've talked about pony-related stuff, like about the fan base. We've talked about sort of spending at cons. We've talked about custom pony plushes. We've talked about a lot of stuff, really. So we've just been talking about random stuff, really.
Hello, Sam. I am back. Yeah, we've just been talking about a mixture of things, really. Talking, obviously, Sam and Lawrence have been talking about their experience with
Mm.
going to Griffish Isles for the first time this year. And what they got while
Yeah.
there.
I did like some of the costumes. I saw I did like the Griffish Isles mascot, the Griffin. It's a shame that there weren't any of the, there weren't any they didn't have any plushes of that on sale. I don't think there was ever actually any other than the T-shirts and a few small things. There wasn't actually any Griffish Isles merchandise for sale. 'Cause I would have got a plush of the Griffin if they had them.
Yeah, they probably don't really. If they're a relatively smaller convention, they probably don't have the funds to do that because it's
Yeah.
technically commission work, isn't it?
Yeah, because I say, like, obviously UK PonyCons are much bigger, and obviously they have Britannia as their mascot. As I say,
UK.
did Sam? Did you see the little shark suit?
Yeah, I did. Yeah,
Yeah, I didn't realize it was Bexy.
Oh, right, right.
Yeah, I didn't. I realized it was her on the second day when I saw her. It was her in the costume as the shark.
Yeah, there's.
Mm.
Yeah. But yeah, it's like what was we talking about before I went away? I kind of got out of my head.
Yeah, Sam's talk to me about my what seems to be my breeding plush collection. So
Yeah.
I've currently got like 16 ponies on this sofa. But in this room, there's together about 40, and then there's about another. I think there's about another 4 or 5 plushies in the kitchen, and I've got one, two. I've got another 5 ponies in my room.
Nice. I've got a fair. I haven't got loads, but I have got quite a few little MLP related stuff. You can't see from this angle, but I've got a Tempest Shadow poster from the My Little Pony movie for the G4 film. I've got a G4 poster for Rainbow Dash. I've got a little pixelated, kind of like an 8-bit, inspired by like 8-bit graphics for video games. Real video games.
Nosy.
Yep,
Michael Lionheart commented.
I know. Hello, how are you, Michael?
Hi, Michael.
Just one sec. But like I was saying, but anyway, so like I was saying, like I say, I've got like a 8 bits inspired video game art print thing that I got to.
Be a sec.
All right. Yeah, and I've got like got a lot of posters and prints. I've got quite a lot of Rainbow Dash inspired posters and stuff. I've got plushes. I've got what I can see from here. I've got Rainbow Dash, Applejack, Celestia, Tempest. I've got Apple Bloom. I've got Spike. I've got, I think, a smaller Rainbow Dash plushie.
Yeah.
I've got all the main 6 and Sunset Shimmer in little figurine format. I've also got Rainbow Dash. I got Rainbow Dash figure up there. I've got the Sea Pony Rainbow Dash up here. I've got a Rainbow Dash Funko vinyl figure. that I got signed by Ashley Ball. Yeah, I got a few things MLP wise.
Yeah, I don't have. I've only got like a bit of Gen 5 stuff. Like I've got a few. I've got about. I think I've got about 3 Gen 5 plushes. I've got a few Gen 5 figures. As I say, I like Gen 5, but I don't have like the passion for it as Gen 4. I like certain. I particularly like certain characters from Gen 5.
Yeah. I mean, I don't mind G5 myself, but it's just it could have been so much more than it was. I feel it's just such a shame. It's like they couldn't really get the rights to because of the license fee and having to pay so much money
Yeah.
for a cameo appearance of a certain character from G4, and they would have to pay a lot of money each time. It's just a massive shame, really, that they couldn't go through because I think it could have been so much more. I think it could have gone on for longer as well because I think it could have been so much more bringing back certain characters that would still be alive at that time where the G5 is set. He could have done a few he could have done something where they kind of maybe, I don't know, go back in time a little bit. That you could kind of play around with it. It would have been interesting, but unfortunately, they couldn't do it. They just had a lot of problems when it came to too many bigwigs, money involved. Money is always the problem. I don't know where Sam Boy's gone.
Has he gone to make a Yorkshire cup of tea?
Oh, he's going to pick a cup of tea.
Might have done. I don't know. I just can't remember what he said.
Okay. Oh, well, how have you been, Lawrence? What you been up to
I've
recently?
been all right. Other than the hassle of me trying to get my phone back because I stupidly left it behind. Other than that, I've been all right. Just gone back to normal.
Yeah. It's easily done though when you're kind of like rushing about and trying to get everything packed and everything. And
Yeah.
it's always easy. I mean, I've left a couple things. I mean, I'm pretty sure I've left a few like charge cables and stuff behind in hotel rooms in the past. I tried to remember to bring home the most important things. I had like things I purchased over the weekend and trying obviously my phone and everything and my headphones and stuff like that.
Right, I'm back. Sorry, just had to sort something out there. Anyway, yeah, leaving stuff behind that in hotels and stuff that kind of happened. I mean, luckily, the one thing I left behind once, I was staying in, I think it was Skegness, I think, and I left behind a portable Wi-Fi device, basically. I didn't realise till I got home. Luckily, I just bought another one. They weren't expensive. But yeah, some leaving stuff behind can be annoying.
Oh, it can be, yeah. Well, at least the main thing is, Lawrence. It was actually in the hotel room when it wasn't somewhere
I
else.
didn't realise I was on the train. I was like, because I left it. I think I plugged it into its portable charger. I assume I put it into my coat pocket because I was just using it. I was watching something on it just before, before Sam and I, before I said, Sam, you ready to make a move and check out? And I take it what I must have done is I had my coat on, and I think I must have put it down on the bed. I said, right, I'm just going to check the bathroom just to make sure before we go that that's the one place I hadn't checked. So I checked the bathroom to make sure there's nothing left there. And then I picked up everything else, had my headphones, got me case and got me a little bag. And I take it I must have completely forgotten it, and assuming I just put it into my pocket, with the portable charger. And then I was like, and then obviously I went to get my train, and I was like, I literally, the train had just departed, and I was looking for my phone because I remember I was going to set up my Bluetooth headphones, and I'm like, shit. And I'm like looking through all my pockets, like, crap. I was thinking, right, if it's at the hotel, if I did leave it in the room, it's not a bad thing because they will find it. Because they'll find it there. If God knows if it's fallen out my pocket at the station or whatnot, that would be a bloody problem. So, but luckily, no, I got in contact with the hotel because someone kindly lent me their phone, and sorry. And when I found out it was at the hotel, the only thing was I just would have to pay a small fee for a courier to collect it and return it. But luckily, yeah, that's all sorted now.
Well, at least you got it back. That's the main thing, isn't it?
Yeah, because they did say that if I couldn't arrange a courier, the only other alternative would be for me to pay another £60 to go back up on the train and collect it. Luckily, it didn't come to that.
Well, that would have been a pain in the ass. So I had to go all the way back and pick it up.
Yeah, I mean, it's, as I said, leaving stuff behind can be a pain. I mean, it's not really a problem if you leave a t-shirt or two behind, but you're gonna leave a phone behind and you've got a problem.
Yeah, I mean, luckily for the for the 3 days, sort of the Monday afternoon to Friday morning, sort of for 3.5 days kind of thing. I luckily managed to make do, with me tablet and me MacBook and that. I've got other devices I can compensate for. And the thing is, because my family, my mum is currently in Egypt with my sister and her boyfriend. They'll be back in the early hours of tomorrow morning.
All right.
Yeah, they've been in Egypt for 12 days.
Nice. I'd like to do Egypt. All right, let's have a little conversation because everything's gone a little bit quiet. Obviously, this is just a general question. If money was not an option or not a problem, you had the money, it was all secured, hypothetically, of course. What dream conventions would you love to go to?
Power
Go on, sorry.
Power Morphicon, the Power Rangers one in the States.
Same here.
Dragon Con,
nice.
Yeah, you go, John.
No, you won't. No, you can list.
And as a second alternative, I probably would like to go to one of the pony cons, either in the States or Canada. One of the pony conventions. I know they've got like Harmony Con and that, and there's the one in Vancouver. It would be interesting to go to that one because that's where it was produced.
Yeah, it would be. Actually, go to a Canadian one. How about you, Sam? Any other ideas?
I'd love to go to the Lord of the Rings tour in New Zealand.
Oh, yeah, that'd be good.
Because part of the main bit of it is because you can actually stay in the Shire. They actually have proper Shire hobbit halls, as they're called, the houses in the Shire, and they actually have them as hotels, and you can stay in these little hobbit hall kind of things, and it's like a living experience. They have the prancing pony and all that stuff, and you can spend a few days there, and you can visit the various sets and go and see stuff that's there, like workshops and stuff. I'd love to do that. It's New Zealand. It's not a cheap.
I've been to New Zealand. It's a lovely place. When I was mainly in Auckland, we didn't really see it anywhere where the Lord of the Rings was filmed. But yeah, and it's a lovely place to be. A lovely country, beautiful country.
Sam says great choice. Power Morphicon, would love to do that too. I mean, to be fair, yeah, I'd love to do Power Morphicon myself. But like I said, my main thing would definitely be Dragon Con, because I know that's a really big con. It lasts about a week.
Yeah, the thing is, the amount of money I know I would need to go to a convention on the other side of the world that's on for like a whole week. The amount of money you'd need, it would be,
It would be expensive, yes, but it's just kind of one of them things. Is that if you had the money's secured, the money isn't a problem, but it's a dream convention. For me, I have a couple ones. San Diego Comic Con.
Yeah.
I want to do San Diego Comic Con.
I'd love to do London Comic Con.
I've
been
to London Comic. I've been to London Comic Con for a day. That was I think I went. I think it was 2016. I went the year before I went to my first TF Nation. I went down for the day on the Saturday with someone. It was quite good. It was really good. We didn't meet anyone. We just kind of looked around and bought a few things.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, I'd like to do the London one as well. But San Diego Comic Con is like it's the mecca.
They sell out as well. They sell out tickets in like 20 minutes or something. Don't
the tickets quick,
go ridiculously quick. Like it's probably second only to the Star Wars convention. What's it called? I forget what it's called now.
Star Wars Celebration.
That's it, yeah. Because me and you were wanting to do that one year, didn't we? But the tickets just went so fast that we didn't make it.
Yeah.
Where is that? Is that in the States?
In the UK.
It's in the UK. Yeah.
The alternate.
I haven't. I mean, yeah. The conventions I went to as a kid, the first one my dad ever took me to in 1997 was mainly a Star Wars convention. I can't remember what it was called. It was like 85% Star Wars because that was the time I was becoming a huge Star Wars fan. That was the time the special editions of the film, special editions of the original trilogy, were coming out. So that had like reignited the whole thing again, and of course that was made way for the prequels. Yeah, and I remember like having that day. That was just because I met and like I actually was allowed to sit at the bar with like David Prowse and some other of the guests. Like for being 7 years old and like meeting people who had actually been in Star Wars. And had like physically played like Darth Vader and that was just probably the best experience of my life up to that point.
Yeah, well, that's the great thing about conventions. I mean, the Comic Cons are good, irrespective of what country there is. But the thing is, you can't have too long interaction with the guests, which is unfortunate.
Yeah, I get it. I mean, look, obviously we went. You, Sam, you, Tony, and me. We went to Liverpool Comic Con, didn't we, for the day? And there was a lot of guests there, and I kept seeing for this year they had so many guests this year. But the thing is, Liverpool Comic Con was on the same weekend as Griffish Isles. But they were like, apparently, there were people I'd love to meet who were at Liverpool Comic Con this year. Like, Hayden Christensen was there. Rosario Dawson was there.
Yeah.
I don't know if they said Natalie Portman might have made an appearance with them as well. And Bryce Dallas Howard.
Well, I do know that season 2 of Ahsoka's currently filming in the UK at the moment.
Yeah,
so that's why they're making appearances at some of the conventions. Like on the days where they've got because if you notice, like some of them are saying Sunday only or Saturday only.
Yeah.
It's because it's in between scheduling of shoots.
So I would have loved to meet like Bryce. I'd love to have met Bryce Dallas Howard. Like she was like from Spider-Man 3, from Jurassic World, and that. And I think she was involved as a writer in The Mandalorian. Like I had like the massive crush on her. Right. Back when I was like 17, 18. I had like a massive crush on her. I'd love to have met her.
Who, Natalie Portman?
Yeah, no, Bryce Dallas Howard. She was in like Spider-Man. Yeah, she was Gwen Stacy in Spider-Man 3, and she was like the head, the head of the park in the Jurassic World films.
Oh yes. Oh yeah, and she was one of the directors. She was one of the directors for Mandalorian as well.
Yeah. I would have loved to meet her because I had the biggest crush on her.
Yeah, she is quite nice actually. I don't blame you on that one. Yeah, I mean, getting back onto conventions. I mean, I'd love to do Star Wars Celebration one year.
Yeah, that would be good. It'd be good. It would actually be good to go to a Star Wars event again.
I'd love to.
Not been to one for ages.
I would love to have gone to the one this year because it was in Japan. Star Wars Celebration in Japan would have been great.
I wonder what the. I wonder how. I wonder what the how the Japanese and that. I wonder how they embrace it and how they perceive everything compared to us sort of in the West. That's what would be interesting to find out.
Well, it's no different to any other country. They're basically a lot of the shows is dubbed in Japanese.
Yeah,
or subtitled in Japanese.
Because it would be like obviously you see plenty of things in Chinese and Japanese and stuff. It would, it just would be interesting, because like. I mean, I remember Daniel Radcliffe, Harry Potter, saying he felt, when he toured the world promoting the films, like the most intense he felt it was. The hype was the most intense, he said, in Japan.
Yeah, the thing is, though, it's the Japanese
Western media.
You what?
Japan, they absolutely love Western media, Western film.
Yeah,
there's a lot of bands as well that were like Queen. Like Queen were huge in Japan. Like they were huge everywhere, but Japan they were like really big. They were massive in Japan.
Yeah.
There were even some British bands that had no success in the UK, but went over to Japan and had huge success. Have you heard about a group called the Runaways?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. The Runaways were an all-girl rock band that had barely any success in the UK, but then when it went over to Japan, they just became huge. And they spent about 2 or 3 years in Japan, where they just made most of their albums. They weren't around for very long. I think they were only around for about 3 or 4 years until they split up. But most of the music was done in Japan.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing is, that's the thing. I mean, Japan, they do obviously they're in a lot of the stuff that they have their stuff that is more for their culture, that is much more in depth with their like folklore and the stories that they've told over centuries.
Yeah. If I had the money secure, if I had the money, 2 dream things I want to do: Power Morphicon and a visit to Japan.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I'm hoping to do Japan next after America. Something I already want to do Japan next after America. But yeah, I mean, like I say, Japan is like my peak destination to go to. Yeah, I don't speak any Japanese, but the beautiful thing about Japan is you don't really need to know much. You only need to know basics like hello, goodbye.
Yeah, konnichiwa.
Yeah. You just need to know little basics, and you just need to know a little bit of their etiquette.
Yeah,
basically, you just need to understand a little bit of their etiquette. Where you don't tip your waiters or your hotel staff.
No. That'd be great. Well, I never tip. I'm the only person I ever give a tip to is my hairdresser.
Yeah, you don't tip anybody that's in hospitality or anything like that.
Yeah, that's good. That is really good.
Yeah, because they see it as they see being in that job is a reward in itself. Being there to help other people and be of service, they think that is an honour to them, basically, and that's why they don't support the whole tip thing. That is basically their mindset around it. So yeah, you don't tip your waiters, you don't tip your bar staff or anyone that's in hospitality or retail or anything like that.
Yeah, I have this funny story that my dad told me about one of his last trips to America before he retired from working for Levi's. In one of his last trips to San Francisco, because he went out to San Francisco about 5-6 years. He made like 30 trips to San Francisco because he got to quite a high level, and apparently in the States, like they're very keen. It's literally compulsory to leave a tip. I think up to about $5 to $10, and apparently one time he didn't. Yeah, and one time that he didn't, and apparently one of the staff from the restaurant followed him and some of his work friends out of the restaurant, going, "Where's my tip?"
Yeah. I mean, obviously, America. Obviously, when we go to America in September, tipping is not. You don't have to tip, but it is strongly encouraged you do. Otherwise, you're going to get really bad customer service, or you're probably going to get like spit in your burger or whatever, that kind of deal. But yeah, it's like a percentage system. You got like it's something like 5% tip, 10%, 15. It depends. It's like it's for basically say if I don't know, say that you spent $100 in this bar and you go to pay your tab, you pay like an equivalent on top of that. That would kind of like be the tip. So it's kind of like say I don't know, like 15% on top of 100. That's your tip basically. Or whatever you want to, it could be something like as stupid as like $10 each.
Yeah, well, that's now really in America. I mean, that's fine. I mean, it's
yeah, we could just give them $10 each.
£7.50, £7.80, something like that.
Something like that. But yeah, for me, when it comes to conventions, though, I've always wanted to go to. Obviously, I've said San Diego Comic Con because it's the pinnacle. And it's like a 5-day event. It literally runs on for like almost a week. One of the days is a media only day, and then the rest of the days it's for attendance, not normal attendees. But yeah, San Diego Comic Con's one. Anime Expo in America, is another one because they get some fantastic guests at Anime Expo. They get like some of the best voice actors in anime and video games that go there. They get like literally at Anime Expo. They usually have panels that consist of a whole frigging show. Basically, like they've literally got the voice cast for like, say for instance, Cowboy Bebop. And they did like a reunion panel for the voice cast of Cowboy Bebop. They'll have Steve Bloom there. They'll have his wife there, who was a sound engineer and played one of the characters in it. They'd have this one. They'll just do. That's how good Anime Expo is. They basically are. It's like the creme de la creme of anime conventions. Power Morphicon, definitely.
Yeah,
I would love to do that. I'd also like to do. What is it? Can't remember now. What was it? Oh, before it shut down, I'd love to have done BronyCon.
Yeah. I mean, I would like to do that, but
which was in Baltimore, I believe.
Yeah,
it was. I think they changed.
I think that there was a BronyCon in the UK.
There was, yeah. There was. I do remember a convention called Brony UK or UK BronyCon.
Do you remember in the John Delansky documentary that there's a particular segment? One of the particular people it focuses on is the autistic chap in Manchester.
Yeah,
and like the steps he takes in going to the UK BronyCon.
There was more MLP conventions at one point, but a lot of them just shut down, and there's only literally 4. There's only 4 running now in the UK, and then you've got a couple in France. I mean, you've got a couple in Europe. Then you've got pretty much I mean, I'd like to do an MLP convention in Japan.
Yeah. So that would be very interesting
because apparently My Little Pony in Japan's fucking huge.
Yeah.
And they've literally got they've got an official mascot that is actually endorsed by Hasbro. They're literally. I think it's the only country that has an official OC that is actually officially licensed by Hasbro. I've forgotten a name. I've forgotten what the pony's name, but you can literally buy the plush. They've
Yeah.
literally made an official plush for this that they sell at this convention. You can only get it in Japan at this convention, and it's basically her cutie mark is basically the Japanese flag, and it's basically I think she's like white and red, and a color scheme, and really cool. Bit obviously it's similar to like the Britannia, the
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. It sounds like that. Yeah, but I mean,
it's a similar thing to what they do, but obviously Britannia's an unofficial, like it's a fan creation. But literally, I think the Japanese one's the only one that's actually been officially licensed by Hasbro to actually be made and to be sold as an official plushie. I could be wrong with that. There could be others, but that's the only one I know of.
do you have any of the Britannia plushes, John?
No, I have contemplated on getting one, but yeah, I haven't got one now. I haven't got one yet.
I've got the sea pony. I've got the sea pony one. I've got the Britannia, and I've got the regular one from last year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean you'll be able to get them still, even if they don't announce a new one. You'll still be able to buy the other ones they've got. If you wanted one.
Oh yeah, I don't know. I mean, if I do a UK PonyCon, I might maybe pick one up. I don't know. I mean, like I say, I'm being a bit careful because obviously I don't want to.
Obviously, you've got TF Nation, then you go into America.
Well, no, yeah, there's that. But what I'm saying is, when it comes to plushies, because they take up a hell of a lot of room, I don't have that much space for too many, and I'm being more picky of. I mean, like I say, I want to get a big. I'd love to get a Big Mac Build-A-Bear because it'll go. Because obviously, I've got Applejack and Apple Bloom, so I would like Applejack to go with them. So that's the set of.
I've got the Build-A-Bear Applejack. I'm not 100. I might get a Big Mac if I saw them for at one point, but I'm not hugely fussed on like the male characters.
I see what you're saying, but I mean, like I say, I just because obviously the siblings and everything.
Yeah.
I've got Apple Bloom, and so I want man to get Big Mac as well to just add to it, so that I've got the siblings at least. I want man to get a Luna because I have got Celestia.
Yeah. Oh! Did you, Sam? Did you take a picture of the guy who had the life-size Luna plush?
I might have a picture of
I
him.
did, yeah. I got a big picture of that. I think I posted it. You might have seen it, John. It's like apparently it was like they're like 800 quid or something. Like this guy had this massive life-size Luna plush.
Jesus
God, carrying it around everywhere.
Yeah. But yes. But yeah, there's loads of places and loads of things I'd love to do. Just unfortunately, it's money and time in it.
Just to verify for you all, currently in the UK, there are 4 active My Little Pony cons. There's Griffish Isles, UK PonyCon, Bronies and Festival of Friendship. In Europe, there's only 2 still going. GalaCon, which is in Germany, and Everfree Encore, which is also in Germany. Then that's it, really. As for websites, we've got a website called UK of Equestria, but they're now exclusively only on Discord. The website's no longer active. There's a group called UK Bronies and Pegasisters. Are they still an active thing? Let's have a look. Out of interest.
Freckle Sharks just said, "What about the con in Italy?"
Vancouver.
It looks like the UK Brony and Pegasisters, the Facebook page is still active. Got over 500 members, but their main website, it looks like that's offline. So I think they just operate through Facebook now. There's loads of like meetups in the UK. Interesting, Lawrence has won near you.
Where? Well, I
don't know.
Because the Britannia body said I think they're from Leicester because they do regular meetups in Leicester. I think they did them at the Geek Retreat, but that's gone now.
There's a pod in Italy, is there? Eperna Fest. That's still an active one. Yeah, there's this website just covers UK stuff. It doesn't cover. I was like, within the UK itself, there's just 4 active cons. For some reason, this website doesn't list Festival of Friendship, but there's 4 active cons in the UK. I think there used to be more, but I'm sure COVID killed off most of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately, and obviously, there was loads in America at one point.
Yeah.
I would like to do Everfree Northwest if that's still available in America. I think it was called Everfree Northwest. I think it was called.
That's still going.
What, Everfree Northwest?
Yeah, that's still going, still active.
Is it?
Yeah. Their next convention is August this year, 22nd to 24th of August.
Freckle Sharks just said Brony Scott is coming back for Scotland.
Yeah, I know that's in Scotland.
I said that one was killed by COVID.
Yeah, I'm hoping to do that next year, Brony Scott. If they're on again next year, I'm hoping to try and do it. So I've always wanted to do Brony Scott. Just been browsing PonyCons. There's not a lot of meetups. There's probably about maybe half a dozen or so within the UK. There was for a very short time. I don't know if you know about this, John, but there was actually a Brony group in Hull. I don't know if you know about that.
I did hear that there was one that operated between Hull and Leeds, I think.
Yeah, they didn't have a very long lifespan. They were only around for a couple of months. They had a couple of meetups. I know they had a meetup where they went out. They went somewhere to see the G4 film. They had like a day out of it. Then the group just sort of stopped meeting due to something happened involving the whoever organised the meetups, and as a result, it just stopped. As far as I'm aware, they've never come back. So yeah, that was a short-lived for our neck of the woods. Was a couple of months.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, really, because there was some really. I mean, I'd love to have done BronyCon in America. That was in Baltimore, based in Baltimore. I'd love to have done that before it finished because that one was really seen as quite a special convention to a lot of the fans.
Yeah, that would have been really good to go to. I think we sort of talked about it, didn't we? We talked about it as a possibility about going over, but
it became much more popular because of like the attention it was getting through like people like AC Racebest and Saberspark, people like that on YouTube that were doing panels and doing their convention vlog stuff. It really kind of like BronyCon really got very popular because BronyCon pretty much was kind of saving the G4 motion. It was basically it was very much the supporting, very much was like the not official, but it was very much supporting G4 from like beginning 2010 right through.
I mean, the thing is with it though, you can kind of see the flow because if you look, I'm just looking at the attendance records for it. It didn't have a very long lifespan. It only lasted for 8 years. When it first started in 2011, it had 100 attendees. Then it had a second one in, again, 2011 that had 300 attendees. Then 2012, 650. 2012, again, later on in the year, it had another one, 4,000 attendees. 2013, 8,500. 2014, 9,500. It peaked in 2015 at 10,000. And then if you look at the last 3 years after that, 2016 to 2018, it just dropped. It lost 3,000 attendees in a year. It went from 10,000 to 7,500. Then it dropped to just over 6,000. Then it dropped to 5,500. And then the very last convention, it had 10,000 attendees. I do know that part of the problem with BronyCon was it died largely due to them. It was two reasons. It was one, struggling to find people who were interested in sort of volunteering there and helping run it. And also the other problem was people were going to other cons. Because by that point of it, when it started to decline, it was largely due to people going to other pony cons. Because at one point, BronyCon was the MLP con. But then slowly other cons started emerging, and obviously a network was built up, and people went to different cons that might be easier to go to or even cheaper to go to. As far as I'm aware, though, BronyCon is the only MLP convention that has had the entire G4 cast as guests on a single day. No one else has managed to do that.
Yeah, that's why BronyCon was such a special event, because they brought together, like, they had like Tara Strong there. They had literally, like you said, they had literally the whole main six. They had Sunset Shimmers being there. The Cutie Mark Crusaders. They had all three of them. They had the singing voices as well. The ones that did the singing voices as well. You know, they've had pretty much everybody, even writers. They've had Lauren Forst there as well. They've had everybody that was influential in the show.
I really want to go to a convention where Tara Strong will be. I don't know. You know, she ever done one in the UK?
No idea.
She probably has, but it's probably more like London or something like that.
Yeah.
Because I think she has been to the UK for convention stuff, but she doesn't come to the UK very often. Because I think the problem is because she's A-list.
Yeah.
She's like Frank Welker and Peter Cullen, like standard. So it's kind of like having to pay that like Frank Welker, Peter Cullen price to get her to come over.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would like to meet Tara Strong, but she won't be fucking cheap. I tell you now, she will not be cheap. She'd be like 100 quid for an autograph, or it'd be like a combi deal, photo and signature deal thing, which would be like 150 quid or something.
Yeah, it's interesting with cons because technically the oldest running My Little Pony convention is UK PonyCon because they started in 2003, I believe.
Yeah.
So they're actually the longest running convention as far as I'm aware. But BronyCon was the convention that really ignited the Brony fan base. You know what's called BronyCon. They were effectively the ones that really embraced G4. In a way, interestingly, there's a group of friends who are also MLP fans, and every year they do sort of like they do a bit of a journey to the centre con centre where UK PonyCon was held.
Yeah.
And they sort of do this bit of a pilgrimage, really. They all go there at least once a year. Because I remember reading about it. I think, and it's quite interesting. Like, there's about 6 or 7 of them, and they're all real good friends, and they're all MLP fans. And every year they do a pilgrimage where they go to the building, the comp centre where BronyCon was held. But yeah, in a way, COVID killed a lot of stuff. Like a lot of independent UK conventions were killed off because of COVID. John, as you know, like TF Nation, they were really close to going out because of COVID.
Yeah, COVID was a big a big final nail in the coffin for a lot of events, a lot of conventions, especially independent ones. But I do know the reason why BronyCon ended. It wasn't just because of COVID. They weren't getting the same number of attendance. There were apparently they were kind of like they were losing a lot of numbers. There were like some points where they were peaking like really good numbers, and then all of a sudden they just started like a lot of the interest started to kind of go away from it. Like a lot
Yeah,
of
and I
people
said
were, like,
there's no chance of them. Yeah, so there's probably no chance of them coming back because now that the whole Brony thing kind of has had its time, and we just refer to ourselves more as fans, you know. I mean, if they
right. There's a list. I've just had a look on UK on Equestria Daily. There's a list of all still active MLP conventions. There is a total of 18 conventions still active. Most of them are in Europe. Obviously, 4 are in the UK. Most of them are in Europe. Then there's about 4 or 5 in America.
there used to be a lot more than that in America.
yeah.
There was one. There was one that was in LA. Not in LA. There was one in Vegas. I don't know if that's still happening, but I do know. Every Free Northwest is still going. They used. I think there was literally. I think there was something like 5 or 6 in America that was like BronyCon was like the pinnacle one that got a lot of boats and attention, but Every Free Northwest was like close second popular. But there was one in Vegas as well. A pony
5.
convention.
There's 5 still active in America.
Which ones are still active in America at the minute?
There is. Hang on, let's go back to the top of the list. There is HarmonyCon, which is in Texas.
Heard of
that one.
There is also BabsCon, which is California.
Yep.
There's Everfree Encore, which is in Washington, and then Everfree Northwest, which is in Florida.
Yeah.
Oh, and yeah, the 5th and final one is GalaCon, which is Maryland.
Yeah.
Which is America.
Yeah.
I've heard of GalaCon. Apparently, that's really good.
They're all pretty good, the ones in America, to be honest. I know BabsCon's meant to be pretty good. I think BabsCon's meant to be pretty good. I would like to do BabsCon, or I would like to do at least one of the MLP conventions in America.
Yeah, I would.
Either BabsCon or Everfree Northwest, one of them two. I'd love to do one of those two because I've heard much more about those events than any of the others. Because I think BabsCon, I think Everfree Northwest kind of saved alongside BronyCon for a long time. A lot of the people that worked for a lot of like the volunteering staff kind of worked between the two events a little bit. Because I think it was kind of like a bit of a shared relationship between them all. Right, Sam Silverman says, I believe BabsCon ending this year. At least that's what I heard. That's interesting because I've got BabsCon on Discord. I've not seen any sort of news about that, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, they're shutting down this year.
Oh, that's a shame.
So yeah, as of this year, then there will be 17 MLP cons still going. Yeah, hang on, let's have a look.
This is because there's basically the draw is starting to dwindle because there's nothing. Since Gen 4 finished, yes, Gen 5 did bring in a little injection of new fans, but it was short lived, and that attention has now quickly gone away from Gen 5. There's still people that appreciate it, but yeah, all that attention has now practically gone away because it's something that's been cancelled. It's not coming back.
Yeah, it was officially announced last year after BabsCon 2024 that this year's is the last one. And I was just browsing actually after the announcement. I kind of feel a little bit I kind of agree a little bit with what some people are saying here. Basically, when they officially announced it, a lot of people had a bit of a discussion about it. Sadly, I kind of agree on this. I think over the next probably 10 years, we're probably going to see a lot of these MLP cons go. Because unless there's fresh content, but even then, it doesn't necessarily mean that they'll keep going. Like, I think some of the smaller cons will stay, like PonyCon, Griffish Isles, because they're small, they're not that big. But I think a lot of the big ones will slowly fade away, and we'll probably be left with just the small ones because a lot of the big ones have shut down. So yeah, who knows? In a couple of years, we might be looking at fewer and fewer MLP based cons.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. There's nothing feeding the interest at the moment. There's been no official news from Hasbro about anything for anything after Gen 5. To be honest, Hasbro are in a bit of a tizzy with themselves because I do know that the whole Transformers thing hasn't worked out for them. Hasbro have pulled out of like co-financing the live action films for the future. Apparently, they're not going to put any money towards it, so it's literally going to be left to whoever produces the film, whoever production company. Apparently, Hasbro have literally gone, right, if there is going to be another live action Transformers film, Hasbro are not going to put any money towards it. They're not going to do half of the money production. It's literally just going to be left to whoever.
I mean, are they planning? Is there a planned sequel to Transformers 1?
No, not currently. Even though I would like one, but
I'd like
the thing is, though, it could still happen because I think it's done better domestically than it has theatrically.
Yeah, because I was just saying it's within the continuity of the original. So,
well, yes, it shares it shares like a reference to Generation 1 continuity, but they do change it a little bit because obviously they kind of changed the origin a little bit for Transformers 1, but yeah, it's still kind of boring from the G1 continuity. But the thing is that throughout Transformers, the origin of the Transformers is different in all different continuity. Like it's in the comic books, it's different in the different continuity of the because you've got Dreamwave comic books, you've got IDW, and so on and so forth. So whoever's kind of done an origin kind of story within the comic books, it's always been a different.
Just talking about this, what I heard today was that Hasbro dropped the bombshell that they do have potential future plans for something film or TV related for Power Rangers, but they don't know yet. We don't know yet what it is.
Yeah, but Netflix were originally going to do a Power Rangers film, weren't they? But then a couple of months ago, they just decided to abandon the project.
Yeah, has basically Netflix were basically actively trying to produce like a full on Power Rangers verse. It was gonna be like a mixture.
Yeah.
It was going to be like a mixture of animated shows, possibly as well as live action.
I didn't know that, but I just saw today that on sale there's that it was released in December 2024, but there's that arcade style, that old style arcade Mighty Morphin Power Rangers game available. I might pick that up in next week.
Yeah, so was it Rita's Rewind?
Rita's Rewind. I might get that. It does look good. So I think it's based briefly on that because there was the original Sega game. Because I think back in the day they did the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers and then Mighty Morphin Power Rangers movie for the Sega Mega Drive or Genesis.
Probably, yeah. I mean, I do want to get the Terminator 2 game that they're bringing out. That's basically based on like the old Mega Drive games and Sega Genesis type games. You know what I mean? You know, like what do they call them?
In terms of MLP, I've got the two Gen 5 games. I've got like Maritime Bay Adventure, and I've got the sequel one for PS4. Yeah, My Little Pony, Zephyr Heights Mystery. Yeah, they're not too bad, but obviously they're very easy to do because they're obviously made for kids.
Yeah, I've not got any of the games for MLP. I've got. I think I'm missing one season box set for for Gen 4. I need to get that because I know I shouldn't be saying this, but I have season 8 and 9 on DVD, but I had to get it as a bootleg. I'm so sorry, but they never officially released. They've never officially released.
Yeah, I've got Region 1 Season 6 and UK Season 7. Those are the only 2 box sets I've got. I've got a few videos with certain individual episodes on them. I've got a box set of the the 3 Equestria Girls sequels, plus I've got the first Equestria Girls on Blu-ray, and I've got a DVD copy as well because that was the first thing I watched with the franchise. I've got MLP movie on Blu-ray. Yeah, that's what I've got.
Yeah, I've got all but I think one. I think I think I'm missing. I could be wrong. I need to double check this, but I think I'm missing either 1 or 2 season box sets for the series. So I need to buy them at some point. But I've got majority of the series. I think I'm missing maybe 1 or 2 season box sets, but I can easily rectify that eventually. Because like I say, I had to buy seasons 8 and 9 as bootleg, but they're still good quality. But I had to buy them as bootleg. I've got the My Little Pony G4 movie. I've got all the Equestria Girl films, and I've also got the specials as well, compilation ones, DVDs. Yeah, that's it for my media stuff. But I don't have any video games based on MLP. I've got the Rainbow. It was like a feature length. It was like a 45-minute special that they released as a DVD, and it was called Rainbow something. Rainbow. Oh, what was it?
Bloody hell. 2 seconds.
I can't remember what we call it now. It was like a 45.
Rainbow Road Trip.
Rainbow Road Trip.
Rainbow Road Trip.
Yeah, I've got that as well.
Yeah, I've got the Christmas special. I think that's the only one of the specials I've got on DVD. But I've got the holiday special.
I've got season 1 to 6.
Thank you,
all
Jonathan.
the Equestria Girl films. That's it. Season 1 to 6, and then all the Equestria Girl films. Oh, and the G4 film as well. Interestingly, you can actually buy legitimately official release. You can buy the G5 film on DVD, but the only place you can buy it is in South Korea.
Oh.
For some reason, South Korea has had an official release DVD of the G5 film. So the only place you can buy it is I heard in
South Korea that was the same. Go a bit off topic, but the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Once and Always, the 30th anniversary special, I think it got a US Blu-ray release. I don't think it was released here. I don't remember.
I've got Mighty Morphin, Zeo, Tearburn in Space, all on DVD, and it's the Jetix DVDs. Pretty rare now, but yeah, I've got the whole lot of them on the Jetix release.
Yeah, nice. I ain't got any. I don't have anything. I don't have the series for Power Rangers on DVD, but I have the film, the Mighty Morphin film.
Yeah,
DVD.
I've got the German release box sets of. I've got one I got from the charity shop. It was the German release full box set of Mighty Morphin season 1, and I've got Zeo to Lost Galaxy as a box set from Germany. But you can't. The thing is, Lost Galaxy is only. It doesn't have the original English dub available to watch. I mean, currently they're all available to watch here on YouTube.
They're all on Netflix, aren't they? Or is it
No. They were, but now Netflix only have Mighty Morphins, all of Mighty Morphin. They have they have the Once and Always special, obviously, and I think they have Super Ninja Steel. I think they have Cosmic Dino Fury and Cosmic Fury.
They used to have literally all of them at one point.
Yeah, they did.
But
it's a shame. That was good. I mean, as I say, I've been watching a lot of Power Rangers recently. I've been watching it on YouTube. They're all at the moment in good quality, all on YouTube. But
one thing that I found really annoying about Netflix is in the UK. I don't know about anybody else that's watching, but I don't know if there's anybody watching currently that is not in the UK, outside the UK. But what's the situation with Netflix of MLP series? Because in the UK, we only have season 1. The first series is available on Netflix. Nothing else.
4. They've got the first 4 seasons on Netflix at the moment.
Have they?
Yeah.
I know at one point in the UK they had seasons 1 to 5. That's when I started watching it. But then I think it got took down to season 1.
Are you sure? Are you sure, son? Because the last time I checked, it only said 25 episodes, which is literally the first season.
I could have, because obviously we were watching it in the hotel, obviously, when we were at Griffish Isles.
Yeah.
I'm sure. Let me have a look. 2 ticks.
I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it said that it literally only had like the first season, or it was season 2.
Currently, all of MLP is available to watch on YouTube as well.
4 seasons. They've got 4 seasons.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, season 1, 2, 3, and 4 are all on Netflix.
Yeah, but to say currently they're all available to watch on YouTube as well. I hope
it's probably not going to happen now because obviously it's fallen through with G5, so it probably won't happen. But it would be nice if either Netflix or even Prime Video or some streaming site that's available in the UK actually was able to get all 9 seasons of G4. So we can actually watch it streamed, because
I remember when I
know there is an option in America for that, but not here.
Well, obviously, if you've got a VPN, you can change your locations and access their Netflix.
Yeah. If you did the whole VPN thing, yeah.
Yeah, but another thing I was saying was I watched a lot of the series when I was getting through the series, the entire series of Gen 4 the first time. I spent a lot of my time in Poland when I was visiting my dad. Watching it, and I noticed in Poland there they had seasons 1 to 6 on Netflix, so that's what I was watching it on.
It's licensing, isn't it? For some reason it was obviously French Biz Magic is a French. It's not French. It's Canadian. It's a Canadian production. Originally anyway, because it was DHX Media that handled the voice recording stuff, and a lot of the animation process was done in Canada as well.
Yeah.
So it was basically largely a Canadian production. So obviously, with it being a Canadian production, Canada had when it came to release of a new season, say season 1, 2, season 2 coming out and so on, it was officially released in Canada first, and I think it was something I don't know if it was a 24-hour thing. It would roll out in America, and then I think when it came to scheduling, was we something like. Well, no, was we was there something like a couple of days behind or something?
Yeah, I was in the UK it mainly aired on, and was it Tiny Pop?
Yeah, it was Pop or Tiny Pop that aired Frederick's Magic in the UK, yeah. But in America, it was the Hub. It was they actually created a brand new channel that was for Frederick's Magic and Transformers Prime, and also GI Joe Renegades, I believe it was called. They were the main three shows that the Hub was trying to promote. But obviously the Hub was short lived and it became Discovery Family. And that's why Discovery Family have the rights to the characters. For some reason, they have even though Hasbro are the owners, Hasbro own My Little Pony as a property, but for some reason, Discovery Family have the partnered rights. They basically have the rights to the main six. So that's why Gen 5 unfortunately failed, because I've mentioned this a few times, but that is ultimately why G5 unfortunately failed, was because every time they wanted to bring a character back that was part of the main six, they would have to pay an amazing, ridiculous amount of money as like a license fee sort of thing for that character to be in that episode, and it could only be maybe for like a couple frames or a couple scenes, but they would have to pay every time a character. So it could be Rainbow Dash, it could be any of them. But I think that's why they got around it, because in G5 they only did the holographic thing for Twilight
message for like a couple of seconds,
and then in the movie, a New Generation movie, they did that little sequence with the main six. But obviously for the movie they had more money, because obviously they had a really good voice cast as well. But when it came to the TV series, I think their budget was really low. I don't think it was anywhere like the film. So that's why they recast the voice actors to try and save a bit of money there, because a lot of them were very up and coming talent. I've never heard of any of them.
I didn't know of any of them either. But what I've looked into about AJ Bridal was, after I met her, obviously at UK Pentagon, I think she was mainly a theatre actress in Canada.
Most of them are. Most voice actors are either from singing background or theatre background.
Well, Ashley Ball was saying, like, in Day to Day, she fronts a band, didn't?
Yeah, she does. Yeah, they're called Hey Ocean.
Yeah.
Hey Ocean, as in Hey Ocean. Yeah, she's a singer. Yeah, that's why. The thing is, though, I mean, I'm going to say this until the day I die. Rainbow Dash has the best songs.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but she does. And then Pinkie Pie, definitely, she has the best ones as well.
Yeah. I think the year Andrea Lippman was there, Sam, we were there. Did Andrea appear at the concert and sing the Smile song?
She did sing. I can't remember what she sang, but yeah, she did.
Yeah.
Well, that'd be interesting, because Andrea Lippman didn't sing for Pinkie Pie. Not officially, anyway. Basically, obviously, Andrea Lippman was the speaking voice for Pinkie Pie, but when it came to the singing, apparently Andrea Lippman couldn't keep that high pitchedness of Pinkie Pie while singing. It wouldn't work. So they got the lass who voices Wallflower Blush in Equestria Girls, one of the specials. It's that lass who voices her. That was the singing voice, I think, for Pinkie Pie.
Yeah.
And Kazumi Evans, she's the singing voice for Rarity, and Luna.
I know that Tara Strong. I know she can sing quite well. She sings Twilight songs. I think she did.
No,
she didn't.
The reason for that is because even though Tara Strong can sing, she can sing, but because basically she lives in LA, and she lives in LA, and all the singing and voice parts was recorded in Canada. and because of that, they decided to go with somebody else for the singing parts, and it's Rebecca Shawchette that sings for Twilight, who is Sunset Shimmer voice actress. Yeah, Kazumi Evans, she voices Audacio, which is one of the Dazzlings, but she's also the singing voice for. She's the singing voice for a couple of them actually. Rainbow Dash, Ashley Ball. Basically, out of the main six, there's only Andrea Libman, Kathy Wesselock, who's Spike. So Andrea Libman, Kathy Wesselock, and Ashley Ball, they're the only three of the main six that have voice actors that voice characters in the main characters. They're the only ones that actually sing for their own parts. The rest of them, unfortunately, there's somebody else that sings for them.
I can kind of understand that with Pinkie Pie, with that high pitched voice, it would be very difficult. You need someone who's classically, someone who's a classically trained singer to be able to pull it off. But the funny thing was, it does sound a lot like. It sounds more or less quite the same as a singing voice. But the thing is, Andrea Lippman said that when she does the talking, it wasn't sped up in post production, which is what a lot of people thought. But no, it's exactly as she recorded.
That's her. That is definitely her. The thing, Andrea Libman, she does sing for Fluttershy.
Yeah,
she sings for Fluttershy because it's much softer on her voice,
yeah.
and because Fluttershy is bit more natural.
Yeah, I watched one of Fluttershy's really good focus episodes the other night. Was it? Yeah, Put Your Hoof Down. That was where she's like learning not to be a pushover.
Yeah.
She becomes now. She takes it too far and gets nasty.
Yeah. Well, that is one thing that has always really amazed me of how well they match the singing voice to the talking voice. Because basically, I've always said this about Rebecca Shawchette. She is incredible, and I'd love to meet her at a UK PonyCon or anywhere. I'd love to meet her in person because the reason why I'd love to meet her is because obviously she's an incredible singer. She sings and voices Sunset Shimmer. That's why I want to meet her, because obviously she's Sunset Shimmer. She's one of my favourite characters. However, she sings for Twilight. But yet, if you listen to when she sings for Twilight, and then she sings for Sunset Shimmer, they are so different. But yet, it's the same woman. But yet, it's just like hard to kind of get your head around the realization that it's the same woman singing for both parts, but yet they're so definitely different. It's unreal. It's like to be able to.
I'm surprised. The talents voice actors can do. I mean, what voice actors can do, how they can do all these different voices, and how
The thing is,
and how singing as well. How they can play all these different characters.
Well, yeah, I mean, obviously the talking, obviously with them being a voice actor, but the thing is the voice acting, like the talking part. Yeah, I can understand. Yeah, voice actors amaze me with how versatile they are, but it's when it comes to the singing, it's like it's all about pitch and tone and everything, and it's kind of like she completely, she completely just, I just find it amazing, and then it's like Pinkie Pie singer. The last of sings for Pinkie Pie. As you said, Lawrence, she sounds just like Andrea Libman. She's like practically perfect double for that role, and you would never know the difference between singer and talking. You can tell a difference with Rarity. I will be honest. You can tell it's a different person singing for Rarity.
I've noticed that with Rarity's singing, you hear more of like the American Canadian accent. But like obviously because Rarity talks in like sort of an imitated posh British accent.
Well, yeah, she's trying to be. Yeah, she's trying to basically be British. Yeah.
But I've noticed that when you hear Rarity sing, you can hear more of the actor's sort of natural accent, the singer's natural accent.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest with you, I'm really quite. I think when it comes to G4 French Magic, the whole music design and the music production behind that show, Daniel Ingram was the mastermind behind a lot of it. He was the mastermind for the film, the G4 film, as well as
Yeah.
all I think up to season 9 of the series, and also I believe he did the first 4 Equestria Girl films as well. I could be wrong.
Yeah, he did.
Did he do all 4?
Yeah, I'm sure he did.
I know he left. I know he left. I know he didn't come back for the series, for the web series for Equestria Girls. I do know he left at one point. I don't know if he left shortly after the G4 film, because I think the G4 film's his last major credit for working on MLP. I could be wrong, but I'd love to meet Daniel Ingram at a PonyCon. Wouldn't that be great if Daniel Ingram got?
Yeah, he did everything. He did G4 film, all Equestria Girls, and he did all the songs for MLP. In total, Daniel Ingram has written over 80 songs for the My Little Pony G4.
We just had a comment. Jonathan has just said, we only have 3 pony conventions this year in the UK. Next year, we may have 5. Do you like having more conventions or less?
Well, ideally, we like having more. I mean, obviously, we can't go to all of them, but, I think it's good for the fan base on the whole,
5? Well, there's 4 currently, isn't there? There's UK Pony Gong, Griffish Isles, Bronies Scott, and Festival of Friendship. So then must be a brand new one opening then.
Yeah, I don't know what he's meaning by that one, but yeah, I mean, I don't. I mean, I know UK PonyCon's happening. UK PonyCon's definitely happening this year. But yeah, I only know of a couple of them, to be honest, in the UK. Well, I mean, to answer that question myself, I will say I don't have a problem. I think it's a good thing that there's more. If there is more MLP conventions starting up in the future, if there's going to be more start up in the future, then I'd have a problem with that, because that means there is still a draw, there's still an interest for a new event to be brought up. Yes, I understand it's putting pressure on other events, because it's another event it's another rival to the rest of them that are out there. But the thing is that the fact is that if you've got more options, then it's easier for some people to get to. But I mean, obviously, UK PonyCon is literally the best. UK PonyCon's like the best
It is.
one in the UK. I would say.
I'll tell you, with UK PonyCon, I'm so glad, that's become a regular, because, it's just UK PonyCon is, it literally has been a blast, and so far out of the 5 I've been to, it's actually just got better and better every year. They've really upped the game with it, and and I'd say, I can't. Yeah, I would say the same thing about TF Nation. Like I say with TF Nation, is I love it. Like not every year has been as good as the previous year, but I've never gone and ever had a bad time or had an off day.
Yeah, that's Jonathan's just said. Zap Apple Camp hadn't run this year. That was the one I was thinking about. I was thinking about what I remember reading about a while back. Zap Apple Camp. Yeah, it's basically a. I don't really know if you can call it a convention. It's technically more of a big meetup. Like loads of fans meet up at a campsite and camp for a couple of days.
It's a little bit more like a festival, I think. It's like
I don't know if it's technically a con. I
kind of like the idea of it being a camp thing, because I do like camping. I do I do like pitching a tent and going camping. I do like that, but nobody seems to want to do that because everybody still wants their creature comforts.
Yeah, I know you've been to things like Download, haven't you?
I've been once to Download Festival, yeah.
Yeah, did you come out for that?
Yeah, I took my tent. I took my tent. Me and Sam went together. We went. It was 5 days. 5 days altogether. 5 days camping. You could do with a 5 day camping or 3 days. That was the options. But we opted to do 5 days because we wanted to get there early enough, find where we needed to go, and pitch our tent within. So we there was no rushing about kind of thing. So we opted for 5 days. It was 5 days camping, roughing a tent, which actually worked out okay. The tent held up. We wasn't wet through.
Yeah.
But the tent did not come back home with us because we did attempt to try and put it all back together to put it back into the bag. And Sam was like, "We need to get to that. We are running out of time fast to get back to the coach to come home." So unfortunately, I left my tent there, which so
It was disintegrating anyway, mate.
no, I do know that they have people that basically donate them to the homeless and that.
Yeah.
So a lot of the stuff that they salvage, they actually kind of like send it off to like charity organisations and stuff, which is a good thing.
Yeah, just looking it up, Zap Apple Camp is confirmed to be back for next year. I think they only had. I think they originated in 2023. They weren't on this year, but they are. Sorry, last year. But according to the Facebook Twitter page, there was an announcement made September of last year confirming that they'll be on this year. But there hasn't been any further information, to be fair, since then. I mean, it's May now, but they haven't posted any further updates as far as I can tell.
Yeah.
It's kind of sad, really, because there obviously still is a huge interest in My Little Pony. Right from the very beginning of from G1 right through to G5, whatever alliteration of My Little Pony you have the most nostalgia for, or you remember and love, there is still appreciation for all of it. Which is the whole thing with UK PonyCon. It's a celebration of all generations, which is a fantastic idea. I think that's why UK PonyCon has lasted as long as it has, because it's a celebration of all of the generations, not just one.
Just to let you know, Zap Apple Camp is not happening this year. They were 8th of April this year. They confirmed it was on hiatus, so potentially coming back next year.
Right, okay.
So yeah, it's not this year.
But the thing is, I mean, it is kind of a shame. It is kind of like telling other times. There's nothing for any us fans to get behind and to be excited about. There's nothing new being planned. There's nothing. Gen 5 has left. Even though Gen 5, some people did enjoy it. Even though I enjoyed it to a certain degree, but it could have been so much better. It could have been so much more than it was. But unfortunately, it ended. It failed to its objective. But I think at the moment Hasbro are in a bit of a crisis with themselves. That's why we've not heard anything concrete from them of what's going to happen. Because even the Transformers side, I know I keep talking about Transformers and we're an MLP channel, but even the Transformers side is having a problem. They've had issues with the toys are still selling quite well. But when it comes to their media, the new comic book, Skybound comic book for Transformers is doing very, very well and is selling well. But when it comes to like the films and animation,
Yeah.
it's not performing as good as they would like. So, and also Transformers One, even though I really enjoyed it and a lot of people did, but unfortunately it didn't do well at cinema, but it has done better domestically. Uh, when it comes to MLP, I think when a Next Generation film came out, and when a Next Generation film came out, the beginning of G5, that really did bring back a lot of buzz. It brought back a lot of new fans, and it kind of like introduced some new blood to the fan base, which was fantastic to see. And it also brought some excitement from those that were fans of G4. So it kind of it kind of ignited a little bit of the spark, which is why when a Next Generation film was announced and it came out, I think that's when it kind of peaked a bit for a lot of the conventions around the world because of the announcement of that film and
Yeah.
the fact
The thing is,
well,
yeah, UK PonyCon 2021 was like the weekend after it was like announced.
yeah.
And like, we met some people, one or two people there that year, who said all they'd seen was the Gen 5 movie, but now they're fans and they wanted to come to the convention.
Jonathan's just said Zap announced they taking another year break. Last year they took a break as another one ran. Right, okay.
Yeah, it's a shame in the long run, but yeah, some cons unfortunately have to do that.
Yeah, I was thinking like during COVID, like because it seemed obviously we went into 3 lockdowns in total, and I was thinking over the course of like those 2 years. I remember you saying in Stream Time, it's like, well, we're worried that we might never go to TF Nation again. We were wondering if, this might kill it.
Got really close to going out forever to TF Nation.
Yep.
If you want to know literally everything that happened over COVID, look up TF Nation's Twitter account because literally the whole thing's on there because Billy released an official statement as to everything that had happened during COVID. They got very, very close to shutting the doors on TF Nation. Very close. I mean, it would have come back. I mean, very likely there would have been maybe a 2 or 3 year, hiatus where then it would probably come back as something else.
Because after 3 years of going there up to that point, and it was weird. It was so weird not to be there. That it was so weird not to be there. I have to admit.
Yeah, I agree. It those years where they did like the well, it wasn't just TF Nation. Every convention.
Yeah, every convention was gone. I mean, I say, but TF Nation was kind of the only regular convention. The only regular convention I was attending at that point.
Yeah. I mean, it back in the COVID times, when all the conventions that were basically hosting basically like streaming the events, streaming the events. No, it wasn't the same because, of course, it wasn't the same. Watching it on a computer screen isn't the same.
Yeah, I know.
I would much rather be there.
I think I saw a bit of the I saw a bit of one of the virtual guests on stream, but that's all I watched because it wasn't the same, and I but it was just. I mean, knowing we just kind of had to get on with it. It's all we could do really is get on with it because it's how the thing, how the world was at that point. So we just had to get on with it. But
the interesting thing with the digital when you went digital for a while, I do know that PonyCon at one point were actually considering having a digital segment because basically what happens after after COVID, when we all went back to normal, I ended up having a chat with one of PonyCon's sort of like volunteers, and it was quite interesting. He basically told me that during when they were doing the virtual side of it all over COVID, they had somebody contact them who was a young lad who was a big pony fan, but due to illness, he couldn't leave the house very often, and being able to take part in a virtual convention was really good for him. They did consider running a virtual side of it as sort of a standard, and they came up with this idea of basically setting up a virtual side, having people going around with portable webcams and stuff, and trying to give people the opportunity to see the convention virtually from home, and being able to buy stuff at vendors if they wanted to through some sort of virtual system. But that just never happened because they basically looked into it and kind of realized that it wouldn't really work in the long run. It would be a bit too costly, and the amount of manpower you need to pull it off would just be too much. I mean, I know there were some strange groups that kind of stated that this is the world from now on. Everything will be like this from now on. It's like, it wasn't, obviously. But yeah, they did consider for a time potentially having a virtual segment as a part of the con, but it said it didn't work out because it's just not doable in the long run.
No, definitely not.
Anyway, lads, right, I'm going to have to get going because I am off. I'm off. I have to be up tomorrow because it's my sister's birthday and we're off to go and see her. So
yeah,
Well,
it
has been nearly 3 hours. It actually has been nearly 3 hours, I think.
Nearly
just
nearly
over
3 hours.
just over 2.5 hours. But I was actually thinking about ending it anyway, Sam. So
Yeah.
just give us a 5 minutes and we'll end it up and properly. But yeah, so that is going to be it for tonight, everybody. Thank you so much for watching.
Thank you so much, everyone.
Let me just go to the top here. Thank you to Silvermoon, Freckle Shark, Michael Lionheart, and Jonathan Wignall. Thank you so much indeed to all of you for joining in the chat. It's been fantastic. It's been great to have a little bit of conversation going. Thank you so much. See you soon, Silvermoon. Thank you so much. But yeah, take care of everybody. But thank you so much for watching. Thank you for supporting the channel. If you do, if this is your first interaction or first time checking us out, please consider subscribing. We're a small channel, but yet we're trying to keep the spirit and the love for Gen 4 and ponies alive. But yeah, keep your eyes peeled. We will be bringing you eventually, when Sam sends me it or gives me it, you will get some Griffish Isles footage on the channel very soon. So whatever these boys got up to. Thank you so much, Jonathan. Thanks for the stream. Yeah, thank you so much for watching. So take care of yourselves. That's enough from me. Thank you for supporting the channel. And anything else you'd like to add, boys, before we go?
I will sort out the Griffin Owl stuff, mate. I'll try and get that to you at some point this week, in the next few days, as soon as I can. Thank you to the audience. Thank you for watching. Thank you for the questions. Silvermoon, we will of course see you at TF Nation in just over 2.5 months, and any streams that we do, meanwhile, we'll see you there. Thank you for everyone. Yeah, cheers for supporting the channel. Lawrence, love your massive plethora of plushes, by the way. Looking very comfortable.
Yeah, thanks, Sam. Well, you've seen it. I mean, you saw.
I have been to your flat, I know, when I visited you. Yeah. But anyway, yes, sir. Thanks a lot, everyone. Right. Anyway,
big thanks,
care.
everyone.
I'm gonna get shooting, and yeah, I'll be.
Would you like? We'll end it together, Sam. Just give us 1 minute. Do you want to say some closing things, Lawrence?
Bye.
I'd just like to say a very big thank you to everyone who's joined us tonight, and say thank you to anyone that watches. watches the stream on repeat. I say it will be available to watch after we finish. So
Yes, it will. Yep.
So and thank you for all your continued support. And we'll hopefully we will be back. We will be back very soon.
Yeah, we would like to try and make these live streams relatively, we'll try and come back as much as we can. And in the meantime, just keep an eye out. We will be bringing you Griffish Isles footage very soon. So thank you for watching. Thanks for the support. And good night. See you soon. And enjoy your weekend, people.
Take care, everyone. See you all later.
See ya.
Bye.